You talk to yourself more than anyone else. Every hour, every minute. That quiet voice in your mind, the one that comments, questions, and sometimes criticizes, never stops speaking. But here's the real question. What is it saying to you? When you make a mistake, does that voice say, "It's okay, you can learn"? Or does it whisper, "You're so stupid"? When life gets hard, does it tell you, "You've got this"? Or, "You're not strong enough"? That voice, your self-talk, can either be your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. According to Dr. Shad Helmstetter, by the age of 18, the average person has heard the word no over 148,000 times, and far fewer words of encouragement. Every "you can't," "you shouldn't," or "you'll fail" becomes an echo in your subconscious mind, and those echoes shape how you feel, act, and react, long after you forget where they came from. So when you speak to yourself harshly, you're not just expressing a mood, you're programming your brain to expect failure, fear, and self-doubt. But the good news, that programming isn't permanent, because the brain can be rewritten, and it starts with your words. Every thought you repeat becomes a pattern, and every pattern strengthens a pathway in your brain. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to rewire itself based on what you focus on. That means the words you tell yourself are not just mental, they're biological. They physically shape your emotional reality. Imagine two people facing the same problem. One says, "This is too hard, I can't handle it." The other says, "This is tough, but I'll find a way." They're living the same event, but they're wiring different brains. One activates fear circuits, the other activates confidence and creativity. That's the power of self-talk. It programs your nervous system to respond with either panic or possibility. According to Dr. Caroline Leaf, your thoughts produce measurable chemical reactions. Negative self-talk increases cortisol, the stress hormone, while positive, compassionate inner dialogue increases serotonin and dopamine, the neurotransmitters linked to motivation and happiness. So when you change your inner language, you literally change your emotional chemistry. Think of your mind as a garden. Every word you speak is a seed. You can't grow peace from words of war. You can't grow confidence from constant self-criticism. But when you plant words of patience, strength, and self-trust, your emotional landscape transforms. Dr. Helmstetter said, "Whatever you tell yourself every day, your brain will believe, whether it's true or not." The question isn't whether self-talk works. It's what kind of story you're teaching your brain to believe. Inside your mind, there are two voices. One is the inner critic, the other is the inner coach. The critic focuses on what's wrong. It magnifies mistakes, compares, and condemns. The coach focuses on what's possible. It encourages, corrects, and guides. Whichever voice you feed most becomes the one that leads your life. The inner critic says, "You're behind, you'll never catch up." The inner coach says, "You're learning, keep going." The critic says, "You messed up again." The coach says, "That didn't work. Let's try something different." They sound simple, but those micro moments of self-talk create entirely different emotional outcomes. One builds shame, the other builds resilience. According to research from Dr. Kristen Neff on self-compassion, self-criticism activates the body's threat system, the same one triggered by physical danger. Your heart rate rises, your muscles tense, and your mind spirals into defense mode. But self-compassion, talking to yourself like a caring friend, activates the care system of the brain, releasing oxytocin and calming the nervous system. So, kindness isn't weakness, It's neuroscience. Your inner voice becomes the tone of your life. When it's cruel, you live in fear. When it's compassionate, you grow in courage. You can't silence the critic forever, but you can teach your coach to speak louder. And that begins with awareness. You can't just tell your inner voice to stop. You have to retrain it. Dr. Shad Helmstetter says, every word you speak to yourself is a command to your subconscious mind. And just like any habit, the voice in your head learns through repetition. So here are 4 powerful practices to reprogram your self-talk, based on neuroscience, not wishful thinking. 1. Awareness. Before affirmation, before you try to change your words, notice what they already are. Catch yourself mid-thought and ask, would I speak to a friend this way? If the answer is no, that's your cue to shift the tone. You can't heal what you refuse to hear. 2. Reframe the narrative. Replace criticism with curiosity. Instead of, I always mess things up, say, I didn't get it right this time. What can I learn? Instead of, I'm not confident enough, say, I'm practicing confidence every day. That's not delusion, it's direction. You're teaching your brain to expect growth instead of guilt. 3. Anchor. Words to action. Affirmations alone can fade, but when you tie them to small, visible actions, your brain starts to believe them. Say, I'm becoming more focused, and then do one focused thing. Turn off notifications for 30 minutes. Behavior validates belief. 4. Speak in the present tense. Your subconscious doesn't understand someday. When you say, I will be confident, it hears, not yet. Instead, speak in the now. I am learning confidence. I am calm. I am capable. It's not pretending. It's programming. The goal isn't to force positivity. It's to speak truthfully, with compassion. Because real self-talk isn't about being perfect. It's about being kind enough to keep becoming. Sometimes, the voice in your head isn't even yours. It's an echo of a parent who was too critical, a teacher who doubted you, a friend who made you feel small. Those voices settle in quietly, and over time, they sound like your own thoughts. But they're not truth, they're conditioning, and you can rewrite it. Neuroscience shows that your brain records emotional memories like tracks on a loop. Each time you replay a memory of failure or shame, you strengthen that neural circuit. But here's the miracle of neuroplasticity. You can record over it. Every time you respond to an old trigger with new language, I'm safe, I'm growing, I'm doing my best, you weaken the old pathway and build a new one. You are literally rewiring your emotional history. It takes time. There will be days when the old voice gets loud again. That's okay. You don't have to fight it. Just notice it. Say to yourself, thank you for trying to protect me, but I don't need that story anymore. That's emotional maturity, not replacing pain with denial, but meeting it with understanding. Dr. Caroline Leaf calls this mind management. You can't stop negative thoughts from arriving, but you can choose which ones unpack their bags and stay. Healing doesn't happen by erasing the past. It happens by giving your present voice the final word. The words you speak to yourself are not just thoughts. They are the blueprint of your life. Every time you tell yourself, I can't, you build a wall. Every time you tell yourself, I'll try, you open a door. And every time you whisper, I am enough, you light a path forward. Your outer world always echoes your inner dialogue. Dr. Shad Helmstetter wrote, you are everything you choose to say to yourself. That means you are the author, the narrator, and the editor of your own story. You can't control what others tell you, but you can control the voice that answers back. And that's where freedom begins. Because self-talk isn't about pretending life is easy. It's about reminding yourself that you are capable of handling what's hard. Think of your inner voice as a lifelong companion. You can't get rid of it, but you can teach it to speak with kindness. It can be your critic, or your coach, your cage, or your compass. The choice always is yours. So next time you hear that old voice of doubt, pause, smile, and say, "Not today, I speak differently now." Because every time you talk to yourself with honesty and compassion, you reshape not only your mind, but your entire life. You can't silence the voice, but you can teach it to sing a better song. Stay aware, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next video.